Am I clapping straight away?
Yeah. Again. No. I came out sort of twice. I came out as bi when I was 14 and I thought that I still liked boys, just to a few friends, and they all seemed pretty accepting of it, except for, you know, at that age you're a little bit like, oh, I don't want to get dressed in front of you at sleepovers anymore. But that was about it. And then at 16 I realised that I just didn't want to get with boys anymore, so I came out as gay. Family was a bit of a mixed bag of responses. They're all really supportive and accepting of me now. I'm 22, but at the time it wasn't very good. It was kind of looked at as like a phase, and a couple of fights about it, but it's all good now. I grew up down in Yallingup, so yeah, 3 hours south of Perth. Well, it was a small town, and growing up I didn't know anybody else that was gay or bisexual or questioning. Like obviously at parties you'd have some same-sex hookups as a bit of a joke, but there was nobody else that I could really relate to, except for a couple of people a bit later on. But my friend group, I was lucky to have really accepting and welcoming friends. My siblings were great. I was scared of my dad the most because he had a really Catholic upbringing, but he ended up being really accepting. It was actually quite funny. My mum wasn't very happy to begin with, and I'm sure she's going to be mad at me for saying this on tape, but she's definitely come around to it now. She's my biggest supporter. So growing up I kind of realised that, you know, I always wanted to save the princess and never be the princess, and I know that that's not traits only for lesbians. Like lots of independent, strong, straight women feel that as well. But so for example, I first kissed a girl when I was 9, but we were just playing, you know, husbands and wives and didn't really know what it meant. And then, you know, all I did know was that I shouldn't talk about it to anyone, which is weird. Like I feel like you intrinsically know that that's wrong, or you can't say anything, or you're going to be teased. And then growing up I always had like a little bit of like weird like crushes on my friends that I also wouldn't talk about, and I thought that was normal until I realised that no, that's how girls feel about boys. And I kind of realised that I wanted to start kissing girls and stuff when I was 14, and so I came out as bisexual. And then whenever I would kiss boys or do anything with them, I'd get really, I don't know, I'd enjoy it at the time, then afterwards I'd feel so much regret and I'd feel like I was dirty, and then I had to shower for a very long time to be able to, you know, scrub myself clean, and it ended up making me like pretty depressed, and I used to self-harm a bit about it. And I thought that maybe I was just doing that because I was in a relationship, so I was sort of internally slut-shaming myself. And so I ended up getting a boyfriend who was a lovely guy, really handsome and really nice and smart, and we really cared about each other, but I just couldn't bring myself to do anything with him, and when I did I felt that disgusting, dirty. And so I thought that, you know, that's it. I broke up with him and said that I would only get with girls from now on, because whenever I kissed a girl it was like fireworks and it was just amazing, and I didn't feel any of that regret. And then after that, like, the self-harming stopped and I was happy, and I realised that that's who I was. I feel like I'm a bit of an outlier because I'm a really confident person. So as soon as I figured out what I was, and like the process of figuring it out was a definite process, but as soon as I sorted it, I was like, yeah, this is me, I need to come out. As soon as I worked it out, I kind of felt like if I wasn't being honest with people about who I was sort of lying, which is my case for me only. Like, I feel like other people are very well entitled to stay in the closet and however they feel they want to go about things. I'm lucky in that I've almost never had much outward aggressive discrimination, and also I can hold my own, so I feel like if anyone were to front me, I would be able to handle that. So no, it's been good. The most part I ever got was some drunken New Year's Eve party, and me and some girl were having a bit of tiff. She turned around, she goes, oh, well, you're just a fucking lesbian. And I was like, you're right, like, good job. What I mainly got was, you're not really gay, you're doing it for attention, it's disgusting. Tell me when you're 21 that you're still like that, and then I'll believe you. I feel like what I'd want to say to my past self is to just not worry about it. It's a big thing, but so much of that is just the initial reaction. And over time, if you don't take what they say in that moment as gospel and you give it time to sink in and for them to learn more, like my parents have learnt so much more about the LGBT community since I've come out, and it's just not something they would have ever looked into before. Yeah. And it's not something that we were around a lot being in a small country town. So yeah, probably just to take a step back and know that their reaction then and there isn't the end point. I don't want to make it political, but like the same-sex schools program, I think that would have been so beneficial, because I think in school, like, it was such a big taboo to come out as gay, and people, there were so many stereotypes that I think really could have been nipped in the bud if you learned about it as a kid. If you learned that it's okay to, you know, kiss your girlfriend at a sleepover, and you don't have to keep it as this big secret, and that's gonna, you know, fester inside of you, kind of thing. And also for boys to be educated that it's not okay to say things like, oh, what a waste, you know, and it's not okay to say things like, can I join in, or can I watch, you know what I mean? And just boys being boys, it's somewhat innocent, because we all say crass things like that in high school, but just to know that those kind of things to do with sexuality really stay with people, and I feel like that being taught in schools would be really beneficial. I was also, again, lucky enough to not really receive any, like, well, you know, I got a bit of a shield around all the, like, the abuse that you'd see online and all the horrible comments, and just knowing that most of my friends and family would have all voted yes. And the only thing was that my father, he was gonna vote no. He's a Catholic guy, and supportive of me, but just, you know, the same old arguments, like, but what about the kids, and marriages between a man and a woman? And so I started having conversation with him about it, and just, you know, giving the standard answers. Oh, well, you know, like, kids can have two mums and dads, and if you make it legal, it'll be better for them growing up. And I was bullied in primary school, and you and mum being straight didn't have anything to do with it. And he was kind of, you know, we were having a bit of a back and forth talk about it. And then his friend came around, and his friend was anti-gay marriage. And so I started chatting with him and saying, oh, what do you think? And he gave out all the arguments that Dad just did. But Dad, hearing it from somebody else, started getting all defensive. It was, oh, well, my daughter could be with whoever she likes. My daughter can raise kids. And then he switched. And then he voted yes. And that was really lovely, just for someone to hear it from somebody else's point of view and really be able to critically think about your own arguments. It's good. So that was the biggest win for me, for the plebiscite. My whole family voted yes, and my friends did, so it was good, but for a lot of people it wasn't like that.